Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the June 3rd, 2012 edition of the Lock in Your Success Trade and Market Updates. Very interesting week in the markets last week. We had a breakdown, and things are starting to look a little bearish. As we were talking last week, if you look at the Dow, we were kind of getting a bit of a bounce. We were watching this level to the downside at 12,250. We were watching the 12,750 to the upside. We got a break of that on Friday, which to me is bearish. Not terribly unexpected. We had this circle down in here, which was our target from our topping pattern. So a down move to here was pretty much expected. The issue I have with this is that there's really no reason for it to stop here. There's no good reason for it to stop till we get down here to the let's see, 11.8 to 11.830 level down in this area. So we can take a look at the other indices and see what they're doing. But this break here for the Dow was definitely bearish and puts us in the bearish camp for the Dow. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bit of a bounce, retest this 12,250 level at some point. Judging by the futures, it doesn't look like it's going to be tomorrow, but that can change pretty quickly. If we take a look at the NASDAQ, again, the breakdown of this previous low was fairly bearish. The NASDAQ, you kind of had to expect the market to come down to 2,400. There's really no reason for it not to. As soon as we broke this lower low back here in March, we broke that March low back in May, that kind of told us we'd probably end up down here just because there's really, from this huge run we had early in the year, there's really no support. So this is the next major support level down in this area. Plus, again, we had our topping pattern. We had our target drawn in for our topping pattern. And I had fully expect this to come down a little bit further. Again, we may have bounces along the way, but it's more than likely going to come down into that area. Come off to the SPX. We had a target of the SPX down here at the 1310 level. And I'm still expecting it to hit that. Again, we may bounce around a little bit, but I thought it may bounce up here at the support line here. And we also had some other support of the highs here, but again, our pattern target puts us down here at around 1265. I fully expect that to be hit as well. Whether it goes further or not, that remains to be seen. If it does, it'll be fairly bearish, and we will be looking at the 1220 level if that doesn't hold. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, because the patterns are very bearish in general. And as far as the Russell, again, we had this topping pattern target down here at around 725. Thought we may get a little more strength off this area, and we definitely wanted to watch the 780 area last week to see if we were going to penetrate that, but the markets obviously were too weak, and we broke the downside instead. As I said, we were sideways to bearish last week. I think we've gone officially into the bearish camp for now, so I'm expecting a pull down to 725. Depending on the timing of the SPX and the Dow and the NASDAQ of when they hit support, is going to kind of tell us whether the 725 area is actually going to hold or not. If it doesn't, we are retesting this neckline, and that could get pretty ugly. So, in general, this week we are bearish, although we may be expecting a bit of a bounce. Overall, I would expect the markets to be lower next week, and next week we're going to have to reassess, and we'll go from there for the following week. I did tweet out and put on my website that we exited the M3 trade for June, and we also entered the M3 trade for July. So we can take a look at this stuff here. This is our July M3 trade. We went in at 730 shorts. The market was up here, probably over 750 a little bit. I did go in with a 6 lot this month on the website trade, just for a little bit of variety. So we come in here with a 6 lot. We bought. I did a 1-to-1 ratio, although I certainly could have. I could have gone a little bit higher. I wouldn't have wanted to do a 2-to-1 ratio, which would have put me here, my entry wouldn't have been a typical M3 entry. It would have been 2 negative delta, and it would have had a lot of upside risk. So that wouldn't have been okay. From an M3 standpoint, I could have gone probably 9 or 1.5 to 1 would have been the perfect ratio to enter this month. But I was a little bearish, so I said, well, let's do this. Let's go in positive delta. The market's probably going to sell off pretty hard. We'll see if we can keep up with it, and it'll make a good website demonstration trade. If our positive delta trade makes out in a very bearish market, should it collapse, this should be a lot of fun. But anyway, I did this on Thursday, had a very aggressive down move on Friday, and the position is still looking fine. I mean, it's down about $50. So on a 6 slot, that's nothing. I'm looking at a $3,000 profit target, $3,000 maximum loss, and a $3,000 loss if I did nothing. Doesn't come into play till around 670. However, our plan for this is to roll these 730s back to 710 should we have much more down movement. As a matter of fact, we start pulling under 730 tomorrow. For any length of time, we're going to take half of these 730s back to 710. If we start getting under 720, we'll take the rest of them back. And I'll update you with that if that happens. But here's the position for now, and everything looks good here. Let's take a look at the bearish butterfly for July. Here it is. We entered the market with a single bearish butterfly, 750 shorts. I think we may have had 1 or 2 up days, I don't know, but from there we've had nothing but down moves, and we're looking good right now. We're up $215. Planned profit target of 1,500, so we got a long ways to go there. But not a whole lot to talk about. This might be another month where we sit here, unless we start breaking down under 710 and have to roll back. I don't think we're going that low, but it certainly is possible. And if we do come into this, just thinking ahead a little bit, if we do come into this support area down here at around 685 on the Russell, we would have rolled this back to probably around 710, because I'm going to guidelines say to roll this back to 710 when the market hits or closes under 710. So that'll be a 40-point rollback. We run to 685. That will not trigger another roll, and we get a nice bounce. That'll put us. That'll look pretty nice. That'll look pretty nice. So I'm pretty excited to see if that happens. That'll be fun if that happens. That's it for our open trades. Let's see. The results of the June M3 trade were that we actually hit profit target. We had 2 contracts on with a profit target of $1,000. I ended up closing it for $1,100 profit, and we had after commissions it was like just over $1,000. So it was just slightly over profit target when it closed. So the the June M3 trade was successful, and month is now closed with successful trades. And July's off and running. So, and again, it looks like an interesting month. It's finally getting the market moving around, which is actually getting me pretty excited. So, I like to see that volatility. It's fun to deal with. So, there we are. We're expecting more volatility to pick up and more bearish action throughout the week. So, have a great week trading, everybody, and we'll talk next week. I'll keep you updated with any changes. Thank you and good night.